Bad news for all Facebook advertisers. Facebook just laid off 11,000 people, and this definitely will have a huge impact when you run ads on Facebook. In this video, I will not talk about the backgrounds about Mark Zuckerberg or anything like that, but I will give you a quick sneak peek into native ads, especially when you just have one traffic source currently, which is Facebook ads or Instagram ads. Hi everyone, my name is Marcel Sattler. I'm the founder of PurpleBlack, a native advertising only agency. So what we're doing on a daily basis is we buy profitable traffic and we run profitable performance campaigns on traffic sources like Taboola and Outbrain, which is just named as native. And you might notice in the past couple of days that Facebook laid off a ton of people. To be more precisely, they laid off 11,000 people, which has definitely a huge impact also for you as an advertiser on Facebook. Because when you know how a company is structured and work, then you might notice that it's not very easy to just cut off 11,000 people without any effect, because they worked. So they usually worked 8 hours a day. And when you just cut them off, there is missing work hours every day. And yeah, you will be definitely affected of this change, and usually not to the best. And I don't want to tell Facebook that it's good or bad to lay off the people. And by the way, I don't like the company Meta, and I think there are a lot of things which are going wrong with this company. But I'm very, very sad for the people who are affected, for the employees, because I think some of them are very hardworking employees with a lot of talent. And therefore, it's very sad to just lay off 11,000 people at the end of the year. And by the way, not just Facebook does it, but Facebook is one of the most famous currently which laid off a lot of people, besides of Twitter, but also a lot of other companies which are more or less in the e-commerce space laid off a lot of people, like Stripe or like Shopify. They all laid off a lot of people. And why is that? Because they overestimated the growth in e-commerce after COVID. And when you run Facebook ads and you're in e-commerce, you might already have noticed by yourself that the growth nowadays in November 2022 isn't as big as expected. And the problem nowadays is when you calculate it already with the sales or with the revenue, and you see in November, oh, that would be a very tough time. I highly think that it's not going to be better in December. And why is that? Because people love to go outside again. They love to go to shopping. They love to go to use shopping as an experience and not just to buy something. So they love to go out, love to meet with friends, love to take on clothes and yeah, just have a good time outside instead of being home, because in the last couple of years, many of us just were at home. So therefore, people really love to go outside, and that means that the revenue or the sales are not growing anymore in e-commerce, and exactly the opposite is the case currently. But what does it mean for you as a Facebook advertiser, as an e-commerce owner, as a D2C brand owner, for example? So that means that when you just have one traffic source, like Facebook, then you might have a problem currently because they let off a lot of people, the e-commerce growth isn't as big as expected, and in general, people are scared, especially in some parts of the world like Europe. So we have a very high inflation, and people just don't want to spend as much money. But why do I tell you that? Because I think it makes definitely sense as a brand owner to have a multi-channel strategy with multiple traffic sources. And maybe native is also a very, very good traffic source for you. With native, I mean traffic sources like Taboola and Outbrain. That's the two big major players in the native game, but there are many, many more. The good news here is that native is just a general term. So it's not just one company like Meta, but it's multiple companies like Taboola, Outbrain, and many, many more of them. So the good news here is that you don't have to risk on just one company, and you can easily switch the budgets between Outbrain and Taboola. So it's more or less very, very secure because you're not affected by just one company. And also, if one of the big major traffic sources like Taboola or Outbrain have an issue, there are 120 other traffic sources in the native game out there. So, you don't really have a big issue there. But when Facebook begins to struggle, and that's the case currently, then you will be definitely affected. So now we know there is inflation, people are scared to invest their money, but is it better on native? And I would say just in general, yes, but let me explain why, because I really want that you understand why that's the case. So in general on Facebook, there's algorithm, you know it, and they're interest-based targeting. So usually you're not starting in the top of the funnel. You're starting on Facebook or with Facebook ads somewhere middle or bottom of the funnel, because people are already noticed your brand, they noticed your product, they know what you do usually. So it's not completely, it's not convincing a completely cold audience just within a few clicks. And native is the exact opposite. So on native, you're usually targeting a completely cold audience. They never ever heard about your product, about your service. They might not even know that there is a product which they need to solve their issue. They usually or sometimes might even know that they have a problem. And they just will get problem aware thanks to advertorial. So you're reaching out for a completely different audience. And when you're a good native advertiser, you will be able to convince these completely cold audience just within a few clicks from a cold audience to a purchasing prospect, which is extremely valuable without any retargeting or 100 retargeting strategies and 79 touch points. So that's definitely possible, and that's one of the reasons why I'm pretty sure that native ads are working in December, January, February, and so on. Because we see nowadays when we talk with clients who want Facebook ads, but also native ads with us, they tell us, hey, Facebook currently struggles. Facebook isn't working as well as expected. I mean, it's Q4, but we don't have the big growth. We just see higher CPMs, higher CPCs, but we are not able to afford Facebook anymore on a big scaling level. Therefore, they're shifting the budgets into the native game. And on native, we see also, of course, because it's Q4, higher CPCs and a bit higher CPMs. But it's not a roller coaster. And we see that there are still a lot of people who want to buy the products or the services. So the good news here is that the CPAs are not exploding. So we see a small growth in the CPCs and CPMs, but not a huge impact on the cost per acquisitions. So don't get me wrong, I don't want to tell you that native ads is the one pill for everything. And it's not the case that everything is greener on the other side. That's definitely not the case. So on native, there are some other issues. So you have higher initial costs. And yeah, it just takes a little bit more time until everything is profitable on native. But the good news is when it's profitable, when the stone begins to roll, it's way easier to turn on higher budgets, to receive more purchases, and to get more profitable from every day. And it's also possible to scale in some difficult times like nowadays. And we see it now in November. We have extremely high spendings with our clients. We have clients who spend 30, 50, 60K per day with just one product in just one country. So that's definitely possible on a profitable scaling level. I'm not talking about some engagement campaigns. That's all performance campaigns. And that's very important to understand. So let's come to a quick conclusion. A lot of companies in the e-commerce space like Meta, like Stripe, like Shopify, laid off a lot of people because they see the e-commerce growth isn't as big as expected. And when you just run on one platform, like for example on Meta with Facebook and Instagram ads, you will definitely be affected by the laid offs. My recommendation, if you didn't check it out yet, is to start with a multi-channel strategy and to dig a little bit deeper into it, to take a look if native is a very good fit for you or not. So that's my personal recommendation. If you want to know more about native, then you're highly welcome to check out my channel here on YouTube, where we'll talk a little bit more about native, share with you some insights, where you just can see, okay, native makes sense for me and for my brand or not. I hope you liked that video. If so, I would extremely appreciate if you give me a thumbs up, and of course, when you subscribe to my channel to get notified when I upload a new video about native ads here on YouTube. Have a good one. See you next time.